Neil, can I just start with your thoughts on the Betfred Cup semi-finals, 5:30 on a Saturday for you guys?
Yeah, it's a bit of a awkward time for a kick-off, but I played in they brought in 5:30 kick-offs when I was a player here back in sort of like the 2001. It's just a little bit of adjustment, that's all. It'll be a different routine for the players in pre-match, but we'll cross that bridge when we'll come to it. We'll be very much prepared, and it's obviously for TV as well. It's a premier game, and a good game, I'm sure, for anyone to watch, really. So, yeah, I mean, it's a strange time for a kick-off, but no issues with it, really.
Can tomorrow's game give you any indication as to what can happen that day?
Not really. Like I touched on Wednesday night, you don't know what sort of form either team are going to be in going into the semi-final, and anything can happen on any given day, so I don't think tomorrow's an indicator at all, really.
What do you expect to face tomorrow? Paul's probably not had the results that he's been wanting, obviously.
We've changed his formation quite a bit, in previous games, so there might be a change in personnel as well. They've had a long night on Wednesday, a successful one, obviously. They might get a bit of a feel-good kickback from that. So the games we've had at Easter Road, in my time as manager, we did well in the Cup and made a really tough, league game after the split. So it's never easy, and our record, over the last couple of years, hasn't been great. So it's something that we are very wary of, regardless of recent form.
What have you made of Hibs' poor start to the season?
Nothing. It's nothing to do with me.
Do you still have any sort of resentment towards Hibs, or is that chapter
closed
now?
Not. Yeah, I've only good memories of Hibs. It was a great club with a great fan base, and we had a great time there. It was very, very fond memories of my time as manager. I met a lot of good friends, good people, and we had a really good team. We had some cracking players there some have gone on to do really good things and are doing good things in their career. So yeah, I have nothing but good things to say about the club.
Will there always be that soft spot for you from Hibs, where you always look to the results and see how, no matter where you are, and the fact that you've been there and you've created those memories? Is there that?
Of course, yeah. I mean, I always liked Hibs as a club anyway before I got the job, and then that reinforced that feeling. In the 2.5 years as manager. So, but we had great times. Promotion, Europe, top 4, semi-finals, and we played with a swagger at times as well. It's always the same when a manager leaves a club. It very rarely ends well, but that's sort of like just a small part of a far bigger picture of good things.
Looking towards Saturday's game, you made 8 changes during the week. The players who came in obviously impressed very well. Is that in your mind? Do you continue refreshing up going into the Europa League, or do you look to sort of go back to from the 8 changes to a more...
You want to know what my team is tomorrow again, don't you? Every week.
But is that in your mind still to continue to freshen up? Because the fringe players you have, you say fringe, but when they come in, they've shown that they're more than capable.
Well, that's what we're looking for, and what we're looking for is to keep the momentum going. Whether it be in the Europa League, the League Cup, the league at the minute. We just want to keep the performances at a good level, and obviously the winning results, and that's not an easy thing to do. The players are playing well. I was delighted with what I saw on Wednesday, but I've been delighted with, are obviously very happy with our league form at the minute. It couldn't be any better really, and we're scoring goals, so it's important that players don't get disappointed. They haven't played well on Wednesday, then they know that there's going to be rotation. They know that this is a big week again, Hibs, Cluj, and another game the following weekend, and they know they will play a part in that.
Young Jeremy's been a hit on social media with his post-match press conference.
I'm not surprised.
How has he been in this week after a great performance? And he said he was buzzing after the game. Has he been the same in training?
Yeah, it's great. He's an infectious personality, and he's an infectious the way he plays, and you can be really proud of his debut. It's a really good debut for him, and hopefully a small step in the direction of having a great career here. He's impressed us in training, and he impressed on Wednesday night, so it's great to have that sort of youth and energy around the place as well, and the players have taken him very well. As you can see, he's a great kid. There's no sort of malice in him or airs of graces about him either.
The Scotland squad gets announced on Tuesday. Do you think it's potentially come too early for Lee Griffiths, or do you think he...
Well, he's injured at the minute.
Will he be out tomorrow as well?
Yeah, he's out tomorrow. Not only is he a thigh strain, he's got a bit of a virus at the minute as well. So, yeah, I mean, I'd love for him to be in the squad, but he's not played much football recently, so, you know, that'll be Steve's call.
Apart from a perfect league record at the moment, the sheer firepower of the team is notable. Is that the product of a change of philosophy?
I don't know, Roddy. You know, maybe a change of manager sometimes does that. You know, Brendan's first season, you know, they were scoring at will as well, with more or less the same personnel. So I'm just delighted with the quality of chances we're creating against teams who are, you know, stubborn and well organised. And it's not an easy thing to do, but I want that fluidity and flow to our play constantly. You know, they're playing with good intensity at the minute, the players, in terms of their work on the ball and off the ball. So it's important we maintain that standard as the season goes on. And, you know, there may be a dip here and there, but we're taking our chances very well. You know, there's a clinical element about the way we're playing, and that comes from confidence, I suppose, as well.
Also, the speed and tempo that you're getting is impressive.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way we like to play the game, and we've got pace in the team, we've got quality in the team, but it's very early days, you know, we're not even out of September yet, so, and I know how quickly things can flip, negatively and positively, so we're just keeping a perspective on things, and I'm enjoying watching them play, and I think that's really important.
Neil, you've obviously been the Hibs manager. What's the mindset around the club when Celtic come to town?
Well, they want to take Celtic's scalp, you know. And Hibs see themselves as a big city club, and they've got a, you know, good fan base there, and you know they'll probably raise their game a little bit subconsciously, you know, to play the likes of Celtic and Rangers, and like I said, Easter Road over the last couple of 3-4 seasons they've done that quite well.
Do you feel you had to work to get belief into the place before you played Celtic?
No, not really. I mean, I always remember, you know, even, you know, Tony Mowbray's team would always, you know, they were always great games. So that was what I always remembered about Hibs from my playing time, and that's what I wanted to bring to Easter Road as manager, and we managed to succeed that, and you know, give all the big teams, you know, whether we went home and away, you know, we'd give them a game.
Neil, how do you think Hibs have changed since you were manager there?
I don't know. You're asking the wrong man. I'm not the Hibs manager. I'm not anything to do with Hibs anymore. Yeah, I had a great time there, but you know, I'm not privy to the change of tactics or the personnel. I haven't really been following that. You know, I'm concentrating more on my job here. Well, my full concentration on the players I have here and what we want to do and how we go forward. So you'd need to ask somebody else about Hibs' change.
I just wanted to ask you about your fullbacks as well. You've got six options at fullback now. How happy are you with that? Do you think that's too many to keep all of them happy?
No, look, I'm not here to keep them happy. You know, everyone says, "Oh, how do you keep them happy?" They've got to play well. You know, we've got, sort of like mid-July, we didn't have a right back in the building, so you know we managed to do good business and you know get 3 in, and we've got a couple of left backs in as well now, and that's what we needed. You know, there was a necessity more than anything else. So yeah, it's a job to keep them all happy. I can only pick 18 players for each squad, so there's going to be a bit of disappointment here and there. But you know, we're trying to rotate the playing staff as best we can.
And Paul Heckingbottom's been under a bit of pressure recently. As a manager, can you empathise with that?
Yeah, of course, yeah. It's too soon, you know, and you know, they've got a great result. They're in the semi-final, and you know, that should give them a fill-up. But he's had some injury problems as well, and you know, experienced that myself at times, and without, you know, having a huge playing squad, it can be difficult to get continuity in what he wants to do.
One of the players that you seem to be getting the best out of just now is Olivier Ncha. He scored 2 terrific goals during the week there. Where do you see best position? It seemed like you moved them a bit further forward in the second half against Partick Thistle.
Well, we just tweaked it a little bit, you know, and I do like him in an advanced attacking position, you know, and at times you're looking at him and thinking he's too good a player not to be starting, or or getting game time. He's French, so he's a bit moody sometimes, you know, but not in a bad way. It's sometimes he's been a little bit inconsistent, but you know, you can see with some of his performances this season what an exceptional talent he can be. So obviously I'm delighted to have him in the squad and be able to work with him, and delighted to see, you know, 2 quality goals. His first goal, you can do that more. You know, we've been trying to encourage the midfield players, Christie, McGregor, Ollie, maybe not so much Brownie, to shoot more from outside the box if the opportunity arises. And you know, he's taken that on board and, you know, got his reward with 2 great goals.
You probably thought you'd heard the end of Kieran Tierney questions, but just one on him after making his debut the other night. How far do you think he can kick on down there at Arsenal?
He can be as good as he wants to be. In terms of Kieran, he's got fantastic discipline, you know, and how he wants to approach his career. He's had a meteoric rise here and a huge step, you know, going forward now into the Premier League, and it's a great challenge for him, and he's at a huge club, and I'm sure he's relishing every minute of it, and I think he will excel, you know, and he's a great kid, and of course we're very proud of him as well.
How are you looking in terms of players coming back and players out for tomorrow?
Well, obviously Griff's out. Beaton and Johnson, you know, I'm hoping that they'll join the squad on Monday. Shved's back in training, but again he hasn't had, you know, much playing time. Maritz, you know, missed the game on Wednesday with an ankle, but he'll be fine. So he's come back into the squad. So we're looking, you know, pretty healthy at the minute.
Excuse me if you've already been asked this, but have you been given a definitive time on Joseph in terms of his development when he's coming back?
You're probably looking at 3 to 4 months, you know. So it was a clean up, and he knows what he needs to do for his rehab, and we're just sort of discussing maybe if he can go away for a few weeks, you know, and do some rehab at home.
How was he after that? I mean, obviously he
He's
started
alright.
the season well. You know,
I mean, it's a blow for us.
Yeah.
A blow for the player, but you know, he felt it was a necessity, and thankfully it's not a microfracture again, you know, which is, you know, a serious operation where, you know, you're out for 6 to 8 months. So he's had a clean up in there, and obviously we have to tread carefully with him on his rehab, but you know, the sooner we get him back the better.
How has the player recruitment structure behind the scenes changed? You said you'd hopeful that Nick Hammond would be able to stay on. Is that an aspect of your job that you enjoy doing, overseeing all of that, or would you like a bit of help with that?
What, recruitment?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's something that it's a work in progress at the minute, you know, and you know, Nick has been working away feverishly behind the scenes, and you know, he'll report back to Peter and the board on that, and we'll take a steer off it from there.
Is he still involved in the club then?
Uh-huh.